had tried this Ark survival with a coat of Pokemon paint before, about 2 years ago, but I never got past the second tower. But man, between lawsuits and 1.0, have you got my attention now? So let's do this slightly less wrong this time. I'm gonna get through all of it and enjoy all the new content, even if I don't notice that it's actually new. I immediately start knocking out my quest, talking to every bitter stranger I can find, taking in the scenery, that is so pretty, and capturing pals. What the world is going on right now? What is this? It's not a survival game if you don't punch a tree. And I at least know that this dog is new, and it's my new favorite bestest boy ever so far. I didn't want to build a base at the first piece of land on display, so I ended up wandering around, enjoying the pals that were new to me, and maybe the game. Oh my god, what the hell? I really want to know what the backstory is to this. Is the T-Fin homicidal, or is the Cattiva like a filthy slob? Then I finally came to a bridge that I didn't dare cross just yet. It was time to stop giving in to that nomadic itch and settle down. Then finally, right around the corner from where this Malpaca was starting shit with these firefoxes, was a perfectly flat piece of land. With a metal node, too. I knew this was the place. My nomadic life had come to an end. I start trying to make friends by clubbing some sense into them. But instead, I ended up using this Malpaca's karma comeback to my advantage. Ain't nothing but a sheep with legs. Wait. They eat the dead? When the hell did they start eating the dead? Did they always do that? Oh well, home sweet home, I guess. Now it's time to set the first pal to work, and I really hope they come to appreciate me for my charming personality and not because I have the ability to make their life an abyss of misery and abuse. Not that I want to do that, because they're so absolutely adorable. Everyone here gets pretty privilege. Eventually my travels take me and Puppa Rai back to town, where I assume everyone's been day drinking, because I cannot imagine another scenario where everyone's okay with this dog on the table. And I say that as someone who loves their puppers and would let them get away with literal murder. But dog paws on the place I put my food. Never! But back to the story at hand. The old guy tells me about a tree and that I should talk to the boss's daughter in that tower over there. But be prepared in case they don't like solicitors or neighbors coming over for small talk. Me and Puppa Ray get to working on the base, gear, kicking ass, freeing pals, when I come across this journal entry reminding me about how bloodthirsty these adorable pals are. Aw, you guys are gonna eat me when I die, aren't you? My base is starting to look like an actual base, and I'm gearing up and getting ready to meet my neighbors. So I'm just riding my pig, minding my own business, when some woman sliding her around on the ground asked me to sleep with her. I think that was pretty darn forward of her, but since I just now realized I can emote, I take a quick nap in the grass. But I ain't got time for messing around. It's time for the boss fight, and me and Puppa Ray and this dream thing, we're on it. It's honestly been long enough I don't remember if this is what it looked like or not, but it's very similar, very pretty. That and Zoe is just kind of awesome. She really has such a great design. And Griswold too. I didn't realize I was only going to have 5 minutes to do this, and I hope that's enough time. Considering how little damage I do, I will admit, I was a little nervous. I'd just snatch up Puppa Ray every time he looks like he was going to get a nuke to the face. Luckily, I didn't need all that time. One of the things I did do, though, is I started leveling up in the middle of the end of the boss fight and didn't realize I'd missed any kind of key information. I needed stamina. I can see my house from here. And also, luckily, I knew how to parachute or hang glide or whatever the hell this is. Because otherwise, that would have hurt. They didn't really give you any other way to get down from that tower. In fact, it wasn't even until I went back to the old man where he's like, why are you beating up people and taking their stuff? And I was like, what stuff? The hell are you talking about? And he's like, well, go talk to Zoe about it. So I did. And she also accused me of stealing her stuff. And I was like, what the hell? I didn't take nothing. Then I guess I did, but they didn't seem to believe me that, look, it just kind of magicked into my pocket. I don't know how it got in my inventory. I was more concerned that I had the stamina of an asthmatic toddler. Then she proceeds to tell me that there's like 7 more of these things. And I'm like, God, that's a lot. Well, I mean, I guess I'll keep doing it. Not really because I care about the tree, but let's be honest. It's because I'm an obsessive pet hoarder. Let's be honest. Hey, we all have our motivation. That's mine, okay? So I have an army to grow, and I'm now making friends with medieval weaponry. And Pupper overpowered electric attacks. I also recruited this giant ice weasel, the bestest chillet ever. Then I went down to this underground kingdom to subjugate royalty. And honestly, it surprised me by being a harder fight than the tower boss. What the hell? Well, at least I got one pet that might not eat me when I die. Despite my near-death experience and many other issues. Oh, that was close. We eventually succeed in turning kings into minions. Chillet! This weasel brings me joy. The base continues to grow, and we now have someone who can mine. Chillet thinks you should like and subscribe if you're enjoying yourself. Thanks. So I'm out here picking up trash when a meteor descends, and I'm like, do I need to be T-Rex at the end of the Cretaceous nervous, or just mildly concerned? Luckily, it was just mildly concerning. But since I could see where the meteor was on my little compass thingy, and I'm trying to figure out if I can get to the tower anyways, and this is kinda, sorta on my way. Either way, I find the meteor and these horrific looking things, but they don't seem to be bothered by my presence at all. And I'm like, oh cool, they're chill. They are not chill. They're just completely oblivious to their surroundings unless you walk in front of their field of vision, I guess. Weirdos. No sooner had we weaseled out of that situation than I found this odd, technically advanced looking tower and decided to check it out. It took me a second, but I eventually figured this thing out. And I honestly thought it was pretty fun having these little puzzles in here. I'll also be the first to admit that I knew I was well outside my comfort zone. Everything around me was at least 10 levels over mine. I also unfortunately had to put Chillet away because he was freezing me to death. Another little puzzle that took me a second to figure out, but we got it in the end. It's given me some pretty decent loot, and I realize I love this deer. I also realize I really want that thing, but I don't have a chance in hell right now. Now that night has fallen, my adventuring has taken on a dark turn. And avoiding the creatures flying around is getting harder and harder to do. I know I gotta get out of here now. I'm not quite big enough to where I can use this path to get me to the tower. So I make a break for it. That thing absolutely nuked my deer. And look, I'm not going to say that what I did next makes me, completely proud of myself, but I'm not going to lie. I kind of used Chillet like a mama wallaby uses her offspring as a distraction so I can make it up to this bird thing. Rip Chillet. But we got home safe and, it was fine. I'm trying to get ready for my next outing when this guy shows up and tries to extort money out of me. Extort? I know I said that wrong. Whatever. We're rolling with it. But anyways, this guy just prances around my base for the next oh so many minutes. Yeah, I thought about it. I didn't do it. So either way, I get ready for this first ever raid of mine. I am prepared, mentally, emotionally, ammo-wise, only to realize I was looking in the wrong direction. Well, how was I supposed to know they were coming down the mountain? Either way, that this raid was hardly an inconvenience considering all my pals. Just annihilated them before I could barely get around that corner. Man, I'm glad I didn't waste any money on that. Wandering around again, I found this egg. That egg turned out to be a lavander. And just, like, you know, I mean, these... I mean, these are all choices. These were... This... It was all done on purpose. What did I mean... What is this game? Well, after that, I feel like it's finally time to cross that bridge we've been ignoring. And this right here was genuinely not intentional. Just like muscle memory took over. And I was like, oh crap. Oh crap. And I was like, is that okay? Can I do that? I mean, I did it. Papa Ray stopped judging me. He's judging me. He looks disappointed. Okay, moving on. So I was out walking around and I was like, be my friend. But I accidentally murdered him instead, and then I felt kind of bad. And I saw that thing in the distance and was like, oh, you should be my friend. I got that deer out of the way just in time just to shoot him myself. I was so disappointed. Why didn't muscle memory kick in this time? Like with the person. No. Pulled the trigger instead. I also went back and tried to befriend this thing just to kill it. Though I did eventually finally capture this thing. Though, not this time. Or that time. Or that time. Or that time. But that time... Yeah, nailed it. After a bit of a scuffle, I make it up this hill and see this guy sitting in a cage and this dog acting crazy. And I'm like, is that your dog, sir? And I decide, you know, like, I should get this guy out. I decide to capture the dog just in case it was his or something. I don't know, just a thought I had. So I go and talk to the guy. Decide I'm gonna take my chances and let him out. But apparently he talks louder than I do when I'm really excited, so he alerted every enemy in the area. But holy crap, I mean, he has a lightsaber. And I have my deer. And my terrible aim. So no harm, no foul. And the guy continues on his adventures. Maybe we'll meet him again later. I don't know. We'll see. After having been distracted for several days, I finally get back on... No, I get distracted again. But I feel it was a pretty good reason. I'd never seen pals clumped together like this. And I was a little bit more intrigued because they were Relaxosauruses. And I have to admit, I kind of like that they're dinosaur-shaped. I really want to take my chance and see if I can't get one of them. Maybe the big one. Maybe I can take him out. I don't really know what I was thinking. It did not go well. I don't know what I expected. I got for this hamster, man. What a lifesaver. One Relaxosaurus was feeling a bit braver than the others. And luckily for me, his aim was as good as mine. And I do mean that in the he hit the tree more than he hit me kind of way. I got lucky. I didn't want to mess with those Relaxosauruses anymore, but I had seen the eggs. and I was going to steal them. And I made it out of there no worse than one slightly singed deer. Eventually I stop messing around and I go and talk to this doctor who talks about how the Free Pal Alliance has gotten a little ornery lately. And he asked me to check out the site of the most recent attack. So I do. But not before I capture these alien rock monsters. And it does kind of seem like they're getting the whole clubbing people, helping pals vibe. And the doctor kind of goes, well, that's weird. They don't normally attack people. But, can you go check on this girl for me? Found a weird looking chest I couldn't open. With cat ears. Horns? Meh. Fell off a cliff and almost drowned. Almost. Then I climb all the way up this mountain. Just to realize my destination is not at the top of this mountain. Luckily, it's an easy remedy. We find her secret lair and realize she's got a little psycho. Little homicidally. But with that, we get Lily's location. So at level 20, I walked into the boss fight with my assortment of pals. I was feeling fairly confident, but let's be honest. She absolutely decimated my entire roster in like minutes. I managed to bounce around until the timer ran out, kind of hoping that it would just kind of teleport me out, but no, it just killed me. Killed me anyways. Luckily for me, she just threw all my crap out of the tower. At least I didn't have to go back in and try to negotiate my stuff. It was obviously going to take a lot of preparation to get me ready for the next tower fight, which meant I needed to join the Metal Age. So I started off with a new base, but as soon as I had completed it, it got invaded. I don't negotiate with raiders. Luckily, it was over pretty quickly and we could move on to more important stuff. Like helping this guy and giving a thwack. The more I play this game, man. I also decided it was time to join the skies. Well, not today. I did eventually finally, get my bird. Though, why in the world did the one with like 18% go first? It was nice to finally take to the skies. I was also kind of disappointed on how incredibly slow this thing was and how much stamina it took. But it was still a better option for getting over mountains and rough terrain. Better than nothing, I guess. And it crashing into the canyon floor did cause me to find a shiny, so that was pretty nice. Still preparing for that tower fight, I head over to the foot of the volcano and start capturing all these ore socks, those flaming goat things. Having seen that the boss is pretty much just a giant leafy vegetable, I figured they'd be pretty helpful. I also run around doing giant boss fights and happen to have the joy of capturing this chunka lame. Chunky llama. Lame. King Paka, whatever. And then finally, I have my chance at the one pal I'd been eyeballing for a minute. I've leveled up some finally, and it is fair game. Of course, the damn thing doesn't want to stay in the ball. Sphere, whatever. I'm bound and determined, though. I don't care. I'm using a yellow one on this thing. I'm keeping it. And luckily that works. My goodness, that stat. Since this guy was nice enough to mention it, I did take a detour to the wildlife sanctuary. Me and Chillet take no time to get over there. He is such a good swimmer. As someone who really likes the Eikthyr deer, I loved that there is a golden white variant? I had to have it. It was a tough cookie, though. We also managed to round up a couple of pen kings. Most of them a little on the runtier side than the one I have at home, but still super useful. Also got myself one of these guys, an L Grove. Of course, once all these guys woke up, it got a little tougher, so me and Chillin had to bail. And luckily, me and my bestie are now much better flyers. Screw that bird. The base is also coming along fairly lovely. I also happened to capture one of those green mammoths. Now level 26, I decide to go for round 2. Pals are still getting pretty shredded, but their fire attacks are having much more of an impact than they were last time. I'm mostly just hoping we can beat that timer. And of course my new favorite pal is just absolutely shredding through her. Love it. I'm not really worried anymore. We've still got plenty of time left, and I've still got most of my pals. Those ramps were a great addition as well. I'm so glad I grabbed a bunch of them by that volcano. Nailed it. So I robbed this boss as well, and I guess this time it's actually on purpose. And according to the doctor, I'm apparently not a cold-hearted murderer because he thinks he can fix her. Yeah, it's okay, Doc. We've all been there.